Hi class, this is Andrew Brown, and this is my English 11 thematic synthesis presentation. Throughout this presentation, I'm going to talk about how we can connect fiction, non-fiction, and informational texts to answer the driving question. My driving question is, how does the culture and society in which we live shape our decisions? First, we have the book A Long Way Gone, written by Ishmael Baya. In this book, Ishmael was in the middle of the civil war in Sierra Leone. Before he encountered the true nature of war, he was living normally, and he was just a child with normal thoughts. But after he was forced to fight and shot and killed a person, his norms has changed. In the book, he explains how he changed by saying, "Killing had become as easy as drinking water. My mind had not only snapped during the first killing, it had also stopped making remorseful records." By this, we can infer that because Ishmael was in this specific environment where people have to kill each other in order to survive, he adapted to this situation by changing his ideology and to think it was normal for him to kill his enemies. This means the society or the environment that he is living in had changed his ideology. The Tipping Point, written by Malcolm Gladwell, had also gave an example of how people change their decisions depending on the society they live in. When Gladwell was talking about social epidemics, he mentioned a famous incident in New York City where Kitty Genovese was attacked 3 times by her assailant, and 38 of her neighbors watched the whole incident happen from their windows, not calling the police. Gladwell explains why this had happened by saying it can be assumed, if one is surrounded and pressed by millions of people, to prevent this from constantly impinging on you, and the only way to do this is to ignore them as often as possible. Same for one's neighbor and his troubles. Because people are in a highly populated area, they tend to not take actions that no one else is taking, and they rely on others to take such actions. And because everyone thought this way, no one had called the police when they saw Genovese getting attacked. From this, it is evident a society that people live in could change their reaction to a problem that could be easily solved. In the poem Southern Cop by Sterling Brown, it talks about Ty Kendricks, a white police officer who shot and killed an African American person running out of an alley. Kendricks said the man was dangerous and could have harmed him, even though the person wasn't harmful at all. This left Kendricks to have no justification to why he had shot the man. Sterling has a lot of sarcasm throughout his poem, and mocks the people who claimed Kendricks' action to be justified. In his poem, he mocks the people who believe Kendricks to be justified by saying, "Let us understand Ty Kendricks. The Negro must have been dangerous because he ran." By reading this verse, it is very clear that Sterling is using sarcasm, and he is trying to convince the people that the police officer is not justified for shooting an unharmful man. However, because of the society where whites were superior over African Americans, the case led to the decision where Kendricks was not guilty. During the Red Scare was also an environment that shaped people's decisions. McCarthy claimed that he had a list of 205 State Department employees who were in the member of the communist group, and he accused them without any factual evidences for being a communist. Because of McCarthy's shocking act, the American citizens started to only believe McCarthy, and this led people to trust no one, and many of the citizens accused each other as communists without any evidences. McCarthy said McCarthyism is Americanism, with its sleeves rolled. From this, it is evident that the quote made the people think removing potential communists is helping America, and it is the American way. So, the society trying to remove communists shaped the citizens' ideology, communism is bad. For my supplemental source, we will watch a news article about McDonald's meat products.
A few years ago, we did that story about how McDonald's uses this pink slime to make its hamburger meat and its chicken nuggets, right? And basically what it is basically meat that has been ground up very finely. And then they use something known as a ammonium hydroxide in order to kill all the bacteria in the meat. Now, this is not like great cuts of meat, right? It's basically like the odds and ends of the animal that are left over. And like I said,
Really?
yeah, obviously. And then they have to use this ammonium hydroxide because of the fact that it has a ton of bacteria in it. And they use this nasty slush to make all of their products, right? So
Because we live in a society where we don't like to eat foods like GMOs and non-processed foods, this news article makes us not want to go to McDonald's at all. From this, it is evident that our society frowning upon processed and unhealthy foods has shaped us to think that we should eat healthy and natural foods.